Thanks again for joining us. I'm Andrew Montesi. Earlier this week on HECM World, Jesse Allen joined us to talk about the growing opportunity around HECM for purchase as more Americans over 60 continue to buy, downsize and right-size in retirement. Well, in this next industry leader insight from the 2026 Reverse Mastermind Summit, Christine Jensen, SVP of Reverse Lending at Fairway Home Mortgage, takes the conversation a step further. She breaks down the HECM for purchase strategy and why some retirees are choosing not to tie up all of their cash in a home purchase, and how reverse mortgage structures may potentially create cash flow and tax planning advantages in certain situations. Now, importantly, the examples discussed here involve tax-related strategies and should always be explored with a qualified tax advisor or financial professional. Now it's over to Christine Jensen after a short message from our sponsor.
Liberty Reverse wants to help you grow your reverse mortgage business with our proprietary Equity IQ product suite. Equity IQ gives your borrowers access to more funds, lowers their upfront costs, and expands eligibility for home purchases. Learn more at partners.libertyreversemortgage.com today. This ad is intended for mortgage professionals only and is not a consumer solicitation. PHH Mortgage, doing business as Liberty Reverse Mortgage, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2726.
It is such a privilege to be here with you today. I hope you are ready with your pens and calculators and notepads because we're going to be doing a whole bunch of math. But here's where things change. And that's when they use the HECM to purchase a home. Lauren was the one that when he called me and asked me if I would do a presentation at the week this week, he specifically mentioned this quote that I had said when we were at a NERMLA meeting a couple of years ago, and that is that friends don't let friends pay cash for their house. Instead of taking all of your cash and dumping it into the illiquid equity in your home, leave some of that money on the sidelines so that you can keep that money invested. And that's the theory here, okay? Keep some of your cash on the sidelines so that you can invest it. This was such great news to me, and I hope you all see this as well. In 2025, National Association of Realtors did a survey to try to figure out who are the active home buyers today, okay? And it's broken down into age groups there. And if you take a look, those that are 60 and over make up almost half of the home buying population last year. Isn't that extraordinary? You would think that the people that are most commonly buying homes are those that are creating households. So household formation is a term that a lot of demographers will use. And you would think that those are the folks in the 30 to 39 age range, right? But interestingly, it's the 60 and up that make up almost half of the home buyers. Why is that happening? Well, a lot of people are right-sizing in retirement, downsizing in retirement. Some of our clients, we've seen it, actually go into larger and nicer homes in retirement. They find that that multi-level home that they were living in, that they raised their family in, would no longer met their needs. So they wanted to go into simpler, more luxurious living. So they think that's what's causing the majority of the moves in retirement. So let me show you how the strategy works, okay? And there's three ways to acquire a home. You can make a 20% down payment, finance it at a 6.5% interest rate, and over the next 30 years, you can pay in principal and interest payments over $1 million. Once you add in the $120,000 that you put down on this $600,000 home, you have spent over $1.1 million, okay? And that's cash flow that could have gone into something more appropriate. You can take all $600,000 out of the market right now. You can liquidate that much in investments and just pay cash for the house. But you all know that having that much illiquid in assets is not the most efficient way to do this in retirement. But instead, we're going to say, let's go for a HECM for purchase, where you make a large down payment, certainly, but then no payments for the rest of your life. Well, which one requires the smallest amount of cash outlay over time? It's clearly scenario number 3. Okay, now we're going to get into the weeds a little bit. All right, so I'm going to be toggling back and forth between a couple of different slides here. And the scenario that we're going to walk through is a 72-year-old couple who are purchasing an $800,000 home. Sadly, in Denver, Colorado, that's a pretty typical house. The down payment required is going to be $509,000. This particular couple has an IRA that requires a minimum distribution of at least $63,000 annually. And after exploring all of their options, they found that financing a portion of the purchase of their new home rather than paying all cash is the better option. So they financed $314,400 via the HECM for purchase. Okay, now this is going to get a little difficult to see because the print's going to be kind of tiny here. So take a look at this. So, and this is the chart that comes right out of Quantum. I know a lot of you are using Quantum for your loan processing software. There's a simulator tool that's inside of Quantum, and there's, I'm sure, a lot of other tools out there that could show this potentially even better than what I've illustrated here. But they opt for making no payments for the first couple of years. They finance all $314,000. So after just 2 years of not making mortgage payments, they've accumulated the following deductible expenses. The first is the $16,000 that they financed in mortgage insurance upfront. You can see from the chart there, during the first year, they acquired or accumulated $21,105 in interest, and they also accrued $1,623 in mortgage insurance premiums, which in this couple's example is indeed tax deductible. They add the year number 2 to that. Year number 2, they accrue $22,630 worth of interest and $1,741 worth of mortgage insurance premium. So we're at the beginning of year number 3. They take all $63,000 and they use it to make a payment toward the reverse mortgage balance. Of those amounts that they paid, $63,099 was tax deductible. So the entire $63,000 principal payment that they made was indeed applied toward deductible mortgage insurance and deductible mortgage interest. So they had $63,099 in deductible expenses and a $63,000 payment. So at the end of the year, they get a 1098 that shows that they paid $63,000 worth of deductible expenses. And they also got, remember, their required minimum distribution of $63,000. So now let me go backwards and show this to you. So if they had not used their required minimum distribution from their IRA, they would have had to pay 22% tax on that $63,000 that they took on the RMD. That amount of tax that they would have had to pay would have been $13,860. But by using it to pay deductible expenses on the HECM, they ended up paying $0 in tax. You just saved them over $13,000. Now, the strategy doesn't work every year. All right, let me go back over here again. In this couple's example, it's going to work after year number 2, and then it's going to work again about every 3 years after that. Okay, so when we look at years number 3, 4, and 5, we find how much they've accrued again in mortgage interest, mortgage deductible mortgage insurance premiums that have accumulated. And 3 years later, so this is at the beginning of year number 5, they would have had over $69,528 in deductible expenses. They once again used the $63,000 to make a payment toward the HECM, and they get the same 1098 that shows deductible expenses to offset the $63,000 that they would have paid in, or that they would have taken as taxable income. So they saved another $13,800 in income tax. And this can be done in this example about every third year. Okay. Now, in just 5 years' time, we've saved them about little over $27,000 worth of income tax. Does that offset the cost that they paid for getting the HECM up front? Yeah. And here's the other kicker. If they want to take that money back out again, of course, with the built-in line of credit that's available, you can see that we've opened up that draw possibility, and they can start to pull that money back out again and use it for other purposes. Pretty cool strategy, isn't it?
Great insights there from Christine Jensen. And we've got more interviews, presentations, and key takeaways coming from the 2026 Reverse Mastermind Summit. So stay tuned to HECM World over the coming days. And for more reverse mortgage news, strategy, and industry insights, visit hecmworld.com.